Are you late? Are you almost here?
Mom, calm down. It's me. So, my daughter isn't there with you after all. That phone call seems to be true.
What happened?
My daughter had an accident. Come to the hospital right away.
Really? I'll go immediately. Which hospital?
Today, our granddaughter was supposed to visit our house, but even after the expected time, she hadn't arrived. Then, our eldest son called. In response to his call, my husband and I hurriedly prepared to go to the hospital. As we were bustling around, the doorbell rang, and an unexpected person entered our home.
Long time no see. Oh, is that the smell of freshly baked cookies? Looks delicious.
Huh?
My thoughts stopped again when I saw my granddaughter, who had the accident, standing right in front of me, and this time my body froze up. It seemed our granddaughter was equally confused by my inexplicable reaction. To confirm the situation, I made a phone call to my son. That call would set significant events in motion. As for me, I'm Brooklyn. At 70, I've already retired from work and am enjoying my retirement. My husband, Leonardo, is also over 70 and leads a retired life alongside me. While many people struggle during retirement, we've been fortunate to enjoy a relaxed lifestyle due to our dual income and Leonardo's slightly higher earnings. Our only son, Cyrus, lives nearby with his wife, Serenity, and our granddaughter, Lucy, about a 30-minute drive from our home. Because they're close, Cyrus' family visits us every few months to check on our well-being.
Mom, Dad, is there anything troubling you? Anything you need help with?
Not really. I looked up and crossed my arms, desperately trying to think of something. It wasn't that I was holding back from Cyrus. There genuinely wasn't anything bothering us or any specific tasks we needed help with.
Grandpa, remember that weed killer you mentioned before? I stopped by the store and got it on my way here.
Oh! My apologies. We were running low on it. I'm always sorry.
It's no big deal. I'll put it in the shed for you.
Thanks, Lucy.
With confident steps, Lucy headed toward the small shed in the corner of our yard. While Leonardo and I remained seated, trusting Lucy to handle it, Cyrus and Serenity exchanged puzzled glances, wondering where she was going. Lucy visits us with a family, but often independently. Since her school is nearby, she often comes over alone. During such visits, she helps us by running errands to distant stores, carrying heavy items, and solving any problems we might have. As a result, we rarely need to ask Cyrus for assistance. You know, Lucy understands our situation better and takes care of us.
That's true. I don't have the same insight.
Both Cyrus's family and Lucy make us proud, and we all share a smile.
What were you talking about?
Returning from putting away the weed killer, Lucy joined our pleasant conversation, even though she hadn't understood the context.
We were talking about how you often take care of Grandma and Grandpa.
Take care?
Nah.
I just came here to hang out with them.
But I'm glad you help us, and it's fun.
Grandma also teaches me various dessert recipes, which I enjoy and appreciate.
Shall we make a simple treat today?
Do we have any flour left? Let's make microwave cookies. They're quick.
Oh, I'll help too.
As Lucy and I headed to the kitchen, Serenity followed in a hurry. Lucy efficiently prepared the tools and ingredients, leaving me with no time to assist. Serenity seemed lost, not knowing where everything was. I gave up on helping with the baking and asked Serenity to prepare dishes and drinks instead. In the end, Lucy mostly finished making the cookies on her own. Her skill in baking was partly due to her frequent visits and the fact that she often made treats when she came over. Eating the finished cookies while chatting with my husband and Lucy became our favorite pastime as a family. Lucy, who enjoys making sweets, isn't strictly an indoor person.
Listen to this. The other day, Lucy rode her bike over 20 miles away.
I heard there's a new clothing store, so I just went there with a friend.
We didn't think you'd go by bike, did we? From now on, take the train. It's dangerous.
Aww.
But the train fare is a waste.
She always leaves without saying much, just to hang out, so I worry.
Well, it's a valid concern. At least tell them where you're going next time.
Understood. I'll be careful.
With a slightly disgruntled expression, Lucy nibbled on a cookie. We've repeatedly warned her not to leave without telling us her destination, but it's become a habit she won't break. Now that Lucy is in high school, we're starting to think we don't need to nag her as much. After everyone left, I washed the dishes and tidied up Leonardo's room. Another peaceful Sunday was coming to an end. We enjoyed our retirement leisurely, and our relationship with Leonardo's family remained good. I truly believed we had a good life. However, unfortunate events often unfold in unseen ways, and even now, circumstances are gradually taking a darker turn without our knowledge. As usual, Lucy came over after school. Today, we were baking banana cake together, and Lucy had a cheerful expression. But for someone who's lived 70 years like me, it's easy to see through a 16-year-old's forced smile. What's wrong? Is something bothering you?
I guess I can't hide things from you, Grandma.
My words made Lucy pause while mixing the ingredients, her joyful expression fading into sudden anxiety.
Actually, I've noticed something odd about Mom lately.
Serenity?
Her phone notification sound changed. I think it's set up to identify who's contacting her by the sound. Sometimes there's a strange scent on her, and she used to come home earlier than me from her part-time job, but now she's often later than I am. She's also been checking mine and Dad's schedules a lot.
With each mention of Serenity, Lucy's expression grew darker. Unlike my youth, today's high schoolers have plenty of romantic experiences, and they're attuned to others' reactions and emotions. Lucy seems to suspect Serenity of infidelity, although she avoids using that word directly, perhaps because she doesn't want to believe her own mother would do such a thing. And this kind of worry isn't something she can share with Cyrus or her friends.
Maybe Dad is also concerned about Mom. They seem a bit distant.
You've confided in me well. But for now, it's just that Serenity's behavior has changed, right? I'll talk to Cyrus and find out. Maybe there's something Lucy doesn't know yet. I, too, carefully chose my words, avoiding the term infidelity, but the atmosphere weighed heavily. Wanting to lift Lucy's spirits, I quickly put the banana cake in the oven. It would take about 40 minutes to bake. Usually, chatting with Lucy would make time fly, but today, our conversation was more subdued, and I couldn't tear my eyes away from the banana cake. That night, I decided to call Cyrus to see how things were going. Hey, have you noticed anything about your relationship with Serenity? Lucy's been feeling anxious.
You caught on, huh? Lately, she's been staying in her room a lot and talking less.
Is Serenity really having an affair?
I don't know. There's no evidence or certainty. It could just be changes in her daily routine or hobbies. and directly asking about an affair isn't an option. So, I can only lightly probe through conversations and actions, mostly just observing.
True, Serenity has been married to you for over 15 years, and she's always been kind to us, visiting as a family. It's hard to imagine her as someone having an affair. There's also a good chance it's a misunderstanding. His family dynamics with Cyrus are great, and our relationship with Leonardo is solid. But if we wrongly suspect Serenity of infidelity, it could jeopardize this harmony. Yet, leaving the situation unaddressed would leave Lucy with her anxiety, and Leonardo would continue to struggle with how to interact with Serenity. Sighing in our dilemma, Cyrus and I couldn't come up with a good solution on the spot. We decided to think about it until our next communication. Since then, Leonardo and I have been brainstorming, but days have passed without a viable solution. Paying a detective for an affair investigation or stumbling upon infidelity by chance, those scenarios belong more to dramas and movies than real life. We've been powerless for 2 weeks now. Lucy hasn't visited during this time, which is unusual. I've been contemplating whether to suggest that Lucy come over soon. But then, out of the blue, Lucy called.
Grandma, can I visit tomorrow?
Oh, sure. No problem.
I'll come around lunchtime. Looking forward to your cooking.
Her sudden call left me feeling surprised, relieved, and bewildered all at once. Before I knew it, the call had ended. The conversation was a bit unclear, but it seems Lucy is planning to visit. Her voice sounded more energetic than I expected. Could these 2 weeks mean Serenity hasn't been having an affair? After all, the affair talk lacks evidence or certainty. Maybe my excessive anxiety stems from worrying about something that hasn't even happened. Well, I'll find out more when I see Lucy. For now, I'll look forward to her visit. The next day, I received a call that Lucy was coming to visit, so I waited while baking cookies. Today is Sunday, and Lucy is the only one coming over. Cyrus, who works in production management at the factory, had urgent work that couldn't meet the deadline, so he had to work on his day off. Since Cyrus was working, Serenity decided not to come to our house and got a part-time job, and Lucy will visit alone. I try not to worry too much, but since I haven't fully eased Lucy's anxiety, my mood remains somewhat heavy, and even the cookie dough feels weighty. Lost in thought, I forget about the time. Glancing at the clock, I realize it's almost noon, past the time Lucy said she'd arrive. Anxious expressions of Lucy's face flash through my mind, and an inexplicable worry overwhelms me. Fidgeting, I watch the cookies baking in the oven, trying to distract myself. After about 10 minutes, just as the oven timer sounds, the phone rings. Without checking the number, I answer, thinking it's Lucy.
Lucy, are you late? Are you almost here?
But it's Cyrus on the other end.
Mom, calm down. It's me.
Disappointed that it's not Lucy, I manage to regain some composure. I notice Cyrus sounds frantic.
So, Lucy didn't make it there after all. Looks like the call was real.
What happened?
Lucy had an accident. Come to the hospital right away.
Huh?
The worry I'd been feeling becomes reality, and I feel like my thoughts and soul are escaping my body.
Mom, pull yourself together. Come to the hospital. I'm on my way too.
I'll be right there. Which hospital?
Yelled at by Cyrus, I snapped out of my daze. After hanging up, I explained the situation to Leonardo. As we hurriedly prepare to go to the hospital together, the intercom buzzes. Irritated by the untimely visitor, I prioritize getting ready to leave. The door opens with a clatter. Lucy always rings the intercom once to let us know she's arrived. The way into this house belongs to Lucy.
Long time no see. Oh, is that the smell of freshly baked cookies? Looks delicious.
Huh?
What's wrong?
Lucy, who I heard that she had an accident, stands before me, and once again, my thoughts freeze. This time, my body too. Lucy seems equally confused by my reaction. Our world stands still. Leonardo breaks the silence.
Isn't that Lucy? Weren't you in an accident?
Exactly. Why are you here?
Accident? What are you talking about? I was late. But I just took the train because Dad told me not to ride my bike too far. Missed a connection, that's all.
I thought you had an accident because you were late. Cyrus called earlier, saying you were at the hospital.
Huh? Dad did?
As Lucy and I remain frozen, Leonardo speaks up, and our world starts moving again. It's a confusing situation, but one thing is certain, Lucy isn't injured. I slump down suddenly, my knees giving way.
You really aren't hurt anywhere?
No, I'm not. So what's this about an accident?
Honestly, I don't even know. Wait a moment. I need to contact Cyrus to sort this out.
I decided to call Cyrus to understand the situation better. It's been a while, so maybe there's been some progress on his end. Gathering my strength, I head toward the phone. This confirmation call is about to change everything. When I called, Cyrus answered instantly.
Mom, it might sound confusing, but listen carefully. I'm at the hospital now, and they say there's no one brought in due to an accident. We even contacted nearby hospitals, and it's the same. No accident victims.
Just calm down and listen. Lucy is at my home. She's perfectly fine. No injuries.
I see. Now we can confirm Lucy's safety.
But what does this mean?
The call came from Serenity at the hospital. She received a call saying Lucy was taken to the hospital due to an accident. So, Serenity rushed out from home, and on her way, she met me, also returning from work, and we both came to the hospital. But now there's speculation that the call might have been a prank.
Was the call from the hospital itself?
No, it was from a mobile number. Emergency responders sometimes use their phones, so it's not unusual. But when we tried calling back, no one answered.
I see. So it was a prank.
However, something seems suspicious. Mom, there's something I need your help with. Is that okay?
Cyrus lowers his voice, likely discussing something he doesn't want Serenity to hear. After hearing Cyrus out, I hung up the phone and quickly took action. An hour later, I was in Cyrus's living room, applying a bandage to my scraped elbow. It stung a little.
Mom, are you here?
I'm in the living room.
It seemed Cyrus had returned. We conversed loudly from separate corners of the entryway and living room. As he realized I was in the living room, their footsteps approached.
Mom, are you okay? Did you get hurt?
I'm fine. Just a minor scrape. Cyrus guided Serenity into the living room, holding her arm to prevent her from escaping.
Looks like my hunch was right.
Serenity, please sit down here. Let's talk. I tapped the sofa in the living room, urging Serenity to take a seat. Once she settled, Cyrus and I sat across from her. Serenity seemed desperate, perhaps concocting excuses. She stared at the empty table in front of her. Since silence wouldn't lead us anywhere, I decided to review today's events in chronological order. You were supposed to work today, Serenity, while Cyrus had to go in for overtime. Did you go to your part-time job?
No, I didn't. I lied about having work today.
After Cyrus left for work, Lucy went out to play, right? So, what were you doing when you didn't have work?
I went shopping alone.
You're lying. I maintained a low, stern tone, exerting pressure on Serenity. She seemed intimidated by my voice and gaze, shrinking slightly. Until now, there had been no evidence or certainty about her affair. Even now, there was no concrete proof. But I had conviction, so I decided to keep pressing until she confessed. Serenity, weren't you home alone with your lover?
That's absurd.
Serenity, who had been looking down, raised her head and firmly denied my words. We could easily verify whether she'd gone to her part-time job, but investigating her affair partner wasn't straightforward. Serenity quickly assessed what she should admit and what she shouldn't. It required sharp thinking to navigate this situation. If we let our guard down, she could easily slip away, so I had to be cautious about the flow of conversation and my choice of words. And today, Lucy went out to play, right? But Cyrus finished work earlier than expected.
Yeah, there was a miscommunication between sales and a client. So, my work ended sooner than planned. I was supposed to be home by evening, but I finished around noon. I messaged Serenity to ask if she needed anything on my way home, but she didn't reply, so I came straight back.
Serenity probably noticed your message when you were already close to home, right? She panicked, rushed out to find you, and concocted the accident story to avoid running into her lover at home.
At the hospital, Serenity acted strangely. Despite Lucy's supposed accident, she didn't seem worried. And when the call might have been a prank, she suggested we go out together instead of returning home.
Exactly. If she kept you away from home, her lover could stay there, covering up any evidence before leaving.
Stop making baseless accusations. It's all speculation, isn't it?
She spoke clearly, denying everything we said. She knew what to deny to escape our accusations. But Cyrus and I were convinced of her affair. We continued stringing our words together. By the way, Serenity, do you know where Lucy went today?
No. I just heard she was going out to play, as usual. Oh, wait.
Serenity finally realized something. She'd been so focused on evading our affair accusations that she missed what was happening right in front of her. It was like missing the obvious. Before Cyrus and I returned, I had been inside Cyrus's house. In other words, I had a key to his house. Serenity noticed this and realized that Lucy had visited my house today. Lucy hadn't come over in the past 2 weeks, so Serenity hadn't considered her going to my place. Lucy's visit led me to call Cyrus for confirmation instead of heading to the hospital. My destination became Cyrus's house, not the hospital. After the call with Cyrus, I borrowed Lucy's key, entrusted her to Leonardo, and hailed a taxi to Cyrus's house. In the end, I didn't need Lucy's key, but without it, I might not have gone to Cyrus's house. Everything seemed to work against Serenity. It's either bad luck or perhaps the universe is punishing me, you might say. Serenity glances at the bandage on my arm. Given that I was already at Cyrus's house and injured, She seems to have realized something. It's probably time to discuss the matter we're both convinced of, her affair. Ultimately, the house key was open, so I didn't use it. I was surprised. When I entered, there was a strange man who suddenly pushed me and left. That's how I got this scrape on my arm. It takes about 30 minutes by car from my house to Cyrus's. However, by urging the taxi driver to hurry, we arrived in about 20 minutes using a shortcut. Truly professional. But arriving too early led to an unexpected encounter with Serenity's affair partner, who was in the midst of covering up evidence. So, the person who pushed me was your lover, right?
I don't know anyone like that.
Once again, Serenity firmly denied any connection to the affair. She seemed to believe that denying everything, even the affair, would be her best strategy. Honestly, without concrete evidence like hotel photos or recorded conversations proving the affair, our options were limited. But the moment Serenity's lover and I crossed paths, her defeat was sealed.
I see. So the person Mom met was a burglar.
Exactly. Serenity, this is serious. Someone broke into the house. Call the police. You should be the one to do it.
Huh? The police?
Of course. There was a break-in.
But first, let's check inside the house for missing items.
If nothing was stolen, you won't report it? Even though someone invaded your home? Quite forgiving. Or are you protecting the criminal?
No, it's not like that.
Then call right now. Serenity took out her smartphone from her bag but couldn't make the call, staring at the screen. Cyrus and I knew she wouldn't be able to call the police, so we watched silently. The living room grew eerily quiet. After a minute of listening to the ticking clock, Serenity still couldn't make the call. Understandable. Reporting her lover as a burglar would lead to his arrest. If he turned out not to be a burglar after all, and Serenity knew that, she might face charges for making a false report. On the other hand, if she told the truth, it would reveal the affair. Reporting now would complicate matters further. I don't know the full situation, but it seems you can't make the call. I'll report it for you.
Well, let's first check inside the house for missing items. If nothing's stolen, maybe we don't need to report it? Dealing with the police seems like a hassle.
Serenity, you're free not to report theft, but I'll report it as an assault case since I'm injured. We'll have to mention the break-in to the police. I don't know the details, but it might be considered robbery with injury.
I can make the call instead. If someone broke in, we can't just ignore it because nothing was stolen.
Our decision to report made Serenity's face turn paler. If you admit to the affair, Serenity, I won't report it. Now choose. Was the person in the house a burglar or your lover? If she denied the affair, we'd report it, exposing the affair and involving the police. But if she admitted it, we'd avoid reporting, focusing solely on resolving the affair. I gave Serenity a choice, but the answer was clear.
I'm sorry. I was having an affair.
Though we lacked evidence, Cyrus and I managed to get Serenity to confess. Threatening to involve the police was just a bluff. I'm relieved Serenity folded. With her admission, she returned to staring at the empty table, silent once more. Afterward, Cyrus promptly filed for divorce. Since Serenity admitted to the affair, the divorce proceeded smoothly, and both Serenity and her lover were held accountable for alimony. Divorced, Serenity was forced out of the house and apparently went to stay with her affair partner. However, Serenity's misfortune continued. Her lover had hidden his marital status while dating her. As a result, Serenity faced alimony claims from her lover's wife. To make matters worse, her lover managed to reconcile with his wife, leaving Serenity abandoned and alone. Now single, she struggles to find work to support herself and pay alimony. However, having been a part-time worker during her marriage to Cyrus, she faces a 15-year employment gap. Despite her efforts, she hasn't found a job yet and continues to live in a modest apartment, gradually depleting her savings. But savings aren't infinite, and she needs a steady income. Although she works part-time, it's challenging to balance job hunting and work. Caught in this financial quagmire, she remains stuck. Let's hope she finds a job soon. Interestingly, Lucy wasn't as shocked as I expected when she learned about her mother's affair. Lucy said,
"I'd been feeling uneasy not knowing for sure about the affair. It's a relief that it's clear now. Otherwise, Dad would be the one to suffer. Having a wife who might be having an affair all the time. How unfair."
While I thought Lucy would be more distressed, it seems her perspective differs. Perhaps our generational differences influence our views. Regardless, wrongdoing remains wrongdoing, even if it involves a parent. Lucy seems adept at compartmentalizing things. She was initially shocked when her parents divorced, but now she's regained her spirits. Today, Lucy is coming over as usual. I need to prepare the ingredients for pudding before she arrives.
Hello, everyone. This is your narrator, Sarah. Well, what can I say? It's a bit naive or perhaps a tangled web of cover-ups that ultimately led to exposure. It's hard to put into words. What are your thoughts? Feel free to share in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next video.